Between 384 to 322 BC, a Greek scientist called Aristotle given some ideas about motion, but he proven wrong between 1564 to 1642 by an Italian scientist called Galileo Galilei. After that, between 64 to 1726 or 27, Sir Isaac Newton came into the picture and modified the ideas of Galileo Galilei. In this video, we'll discuss about Aristotle's fallacy and Galileo Galilei's experiments. The Greek thinker Aristotle told that if a body is moving, something external is required to keep it moving. For example, an arrow shot from a bow keeps flying since something behind the arrow keeps pushing it. That something may be air. So from this example, we can say that if a body is moving, something external is required to keep it moving. Or we can say that an external force is required to keep a body in motion. He took another example of a car which is at rest and considered this position as the natural position of that object, and he believed that every object in the universe has its natural position as rest. Now let's imagine a child with a rope which is tied with car, and this child trying to push the car like this. After child gone somewhere by leaving the rope, the car will come to rest. So by this example, he said that object keeps moving till the force acting upon it. If it is removed, it will come to its natural position, which is rest. So this is the fallacy of Aristotle. After that, Galileo came into picture and proved Aristotle wrong by performing some experiments. So before going to that, we'll understand what is the fault in the Aristotle's argument. So let's consider a horizontal surface on which a car is at rest. Now we are applying some force on the car in the direction of motion. So by this, the car will start moving and stop after some time. Practically, the car stopped because of the frictional force which is acting in the opposite direction of the motion of the car. So we can say that a moving toy car comes to rest because of the external force of friction which is acting in the opposite direction of motion. Now, a child trying to push in this direction, that is, it is applying some force in this direction to move the car. So to move the car, the child has to apply an external force on the car in the direction of motion, which is somewhat greater than the frictional force. Now, let's consider the horizontal surface without friction. And now we are applying some force on the car. Here, if there were no friction, the child would not be required to apply any force to keep the toy car in the uniform motion. You can see in the picture, the car will not stop after applying some force when it is at rest. So this is the fault in his argument. After him, there is an entry of Italian scientist Galileo Galilei, who given the law of inertia. He considered an inclined plane and a ball which is moving down an inclined plane. Here, the ball will accelerate. And he considered another inclined plane where the ball moving up an inclined plane. Here, the ball will decelerate. That is, the motion in this case will retard. And finally, he took an horizontal surface and he observed that there is no acceleration and deceleration in the motion of the ball. That is, the ball is under uniform motion. By these experiments, he concluded that an object moving on a frictionless horizontal plane must neither have acceleration nor retardation. That is, it should move with constant velocity. Another experiment by Galileo Galilei leading to the same conclusion involves a double inclined plane like this. Here, in the second plane, we have some inclination. So consider that inclination as θ1. A ball released from rest on one of the plane rolls down and climbs up the other. In the ideal situation, when there is no friction, the final height of the ball is equals to the initial height of the ball. Now, if the slope of the second plane is decreased, and consider this inclination as theta 2. And the experiment is repeated. The ball will still reach the same height, but in doing so, it will travel a long distance. So therefore, in this case also, the initial height of the ball is same as the final height. In the third case, when the slope of the second plane is 0, that is, we can say that the second plane is horizontal. And the same experiment repeated again. Here, the ball travels an infinite distance. In other words, we can say that its motion never ceases or stopped. This is of course an idealized situation. Now we'll take the practical situation when there is some frictional force and the same experiment setup which we have taken previously. In first condition and the second condition, the ball will not reach the same height as the initial height, and in the third condition it will not travel infinite distance. Instead of that, in first and second condition the ball will reach somewhere here, and in the third condition, instead of traveling a long distance, that is infinite distance, it stops after some time in a finite distance because of the frictional force which is acting opposite in the direction of motion. And after Galileo, there is an entry of English scientist called Sir Isaac Newton, and he studied about the ideas of Galileo Galilei and modified those ideas and proposed 3 laws of motion. Those 3 laws of motion are: the first one is first law of motion, second one is second law of motion, and the final one is third law of motion, which we will see in the next video.